Hi, Region 4. My name is Joanna Valencia, and I'm with the Region 4 Communications Committee, coming to you with two amazing fitness professionals, Melissa and Courtney, as part of our Black History Conversation series. As you know, Black History Month is an opportunity to reflect and celebrate Black excellence as we're celebrating and highlighting our Black African American colleagues in our region. So we're going to start with Melissa. Tell us a little bit about yourself and a little bit about your campus recreation journey.
Yeah. So my name is Melissa. I'm currently at Louisiana State University as one of the fitness coordinators. I came from New Jersey, from Montclair State University, where I served in several roles, including, of course, being a fitness instructor and a personal trainer. And then I went to grad school at Oklahoma State, where I did my graduate assistantship before coming to LSU. So I've been here for 4 years now, and it's been really, really awesome. COVID has been awesome, but now that everything is kind of slowing down, it's been nice to kind of get ourselves back up on our feet. So yeah.
Awesome, thank you for sharing. All right, Courtney.
Yeah, of course. Again, my name is Courtney Rorex. I currently serve as the coordinator of fitness at the University of Houston. I've been in this role for just over a year and a half, and the majority of my time as a professional was spent during the pandemic as well. So very interesting experience in my first professional role. So prior to being here, I completed my undergraduate degree at Georgia Southern University, where I worked in campus recreation as well. Got my start in fitness, but also ventured into some facility management aspects of that as well. I completed my graduate assistantship as the GA of fitness at the University of Mississippi. And right after that came into my role here. So that's a little bit about my journey and how I am here today.
Awesome, thank you so much for sharing. So we'll kick it off. We'll start with Melissa with our second question. What does Black History Month mean to you?
I think for me, it just is it's a great month because we get to celebrate ourselves, and being as a Black woman, we don't often get the opportunity to celebrate ourselves or feel celebrated. So it's just kind of, well, we should always be authentically ourselves and should always feel comfortable in that skin and comfortable with our background and our family and our culture. That doesn't always happen, but this is a month where we can kind of just rip it all off, whatever Band-Aid that is, and just like celebrate who we are and all the accomplishments that other Black individuals have been able to fulfill over the entire nation century course of time.
Awesome. Courtney?
Yeah, so for me, Black History Month, I think really provides an opportunity to continue learning. As a Black person, I love to continue learning about the individuals that have been able to pave the way for me, as well as other Black people. So being able to continue learning and celebrating what those people have done is an awesome experience. And even though those are things that I myself try to do year round, just the month of February, seeing that everyone else is so excited to learn and, be a part of our journey as Black professionals, like Melissa was saying, is not something that we always get the opportunity to experience. So to see more and more people getting excited about Black history and learning what they can do to, help and continue paving the way for the younger generations is such an amazing experience. And that is why I am absolutely a huge fan of Black History Month and the education that comes along with it.
Awesome, thank you for sharing. So tell us a little bit about your experience as a Black woman, specifically in the fitness industry. What are some challenges you face? And we can start with Courtney.
Yeah. So my experience as a fitness professional and a Black woman started as an undergraduate student at Georgia Southern University as a fitness instructor. I think like most fitness professionals and group fitness instructors, I started as a participant, was always the person that was in group fitness classes every day. And I think one of the challenges that I realized early was I was one of the only Black women in that space. So being that I realized that I was one of the only Black women in that space, I recognized an opportunity for me to be that representation for people that look like me in the space and make them feel comfortable coming in. And that was really a big driving factor for me to pursue my certifications and be able to be at the front of the room. So I think some other challenges that I faced is, I didn't realize this at the time, but there were a lot of things that I didn't have access to before getting to college when it comes to fitness, that some people that are non-Black may have experience with. So, things like yoga and mind body formats, I had never experienced those before getting to college and becoming a fitness professional. So I think access was another challenge that I've had to face and overcome. And just being that representation in this space has made my experience as a fitness professional so fulfilling, and makes me want to continue doing the work to bring more women of color, people of color into this space, so that we can show that fitness is for everybody, everyone, and that they do belong.
Awesome. And I'll just kind of tag onto that. I really love the kind of mention of access. I think that's a really, really important and pivotal part of our work and what we do. I think that one thing that I've learned too kind of along the way is like as we get these certifications and we have these opportunities, a point of struggle for me has just been kind of like strong mentorship and where to find that. I've been super intentional about finding that now as a professional and making sure that I have at least one or two people in different fields from different backgrounds that can help me be successful and help me navigate this. Because as Courtney mentioned, there are so few of us. And so it's hard to find mentorship in general and then find mentorship from people that look like us. So as a professional, that has been kind of a point of contention, but it is something that I encourage everyone to be intentional about. And then probably just to be super candid is perception. I think the reality is that people will look at you as a woman and then as a Black woman and not know any of your certifications or not know your background, and kind of either subliminally profile, and it may not be something that they're conscious of or something that they don't try to emulate, but something as simple as, shaking my hand versus shaking a colleague's hand, or talking to them about equipment versus talking to me about a program outcome or something like that. And so those are like, it's every day. And then even if they do know your qualifications and certifications, you still experience that. So just working with those two identities is just, as a fitness professional, sometimes difficult. And it's something that we have to fight for and stand up for, and just, let others be clear about who we are and why we're here.
Thank you. Y'all definitely brought up some really good points. The resources is, that's awesome. I agree. All right. So talk about your experience working with people who look like you, maybe students, fellow professionals, if you've had that experience. And we'll start with Melissa or Courtney, either one.
Okay.
Courtney.
So I think my experience working with people that look like me came more as a professional than as a student. As a student instructor, both in undergrad and grad school, the majority of people that worked alongside me did not look like me. And I think it became more apparent to me in grad school. And that helped me become more intentional about recruiting instructors and trainers and fitness professionals in our staff, so that we could have that representation. And now being able to take that into my professional career, I am, really looking for diverse populations when it comes to student instructors, because I 100% have experienced and recognize how important representation is. So if you can go into a class, or if you can go onto our website and see our trainers and see someone that looks like you that you can work with and help you achieve your goals, I think that is a great way to help people feel more comfortable initially. And initially, if they're starting their fitness journey or getting back into it or whatever that looks like, that can really help people feel like this is a place for them and that they belong. So that is something that I am super passionate about and really strive to do is, making sure that everyone has someone that looks like them or identifies in a way that they can feel comfortable with and identify with themselves. So that way they can, continue working and achieving whatever their goals are.
Yeah, and I would probably just echo all of that. I think the fun part about being an instructor, a professional that a student or a participant can look at and just recognize and see themselves in you is fun because you can just create those fun moments, right? It's like a family backyard party, right? You can play the songs that they know, you can talk to them how they know to be talked to, and that just creates that experience that other people get to have every single day. And so just being able to even present to them in a way that they can relate to and connect with, it just helps them feel more comfortable about asking the questions and knowing that, hey, this is a space for me as well. So really, truly, I kind of echo everything that Courtney said. And most importantly, too, as a professional, I think we've been able to cultivate a really strong network of individuals. The Black Women's Nurse Network has been awesome for us because we, especially in years like this, we can have a moment to say, here we all are, we don't usually see each other until an annual conference, but hey, here we all are, let's connect and let's figure out how we can just support each other and continue to uplift one another's programs and ourselves as individuals. So yeah.
Thank you. All right, so here's a little fun question. So understanding the importance of representation. Who are some maybe icons and role models in the fitness industry that have impacted you or within campus recreation? Feel free to name drop. This is your chance to really highlight some of your awesome mentors, and we'll start with Courtney.
Yeah, so I think some of my icons in the fitness industry, I have three that I can think of, and they are Peloton instructors. I am an advocate of Peloton. I love Peloton so much. And I think that each of these three women that are Black women represent different avenues of my fitness experience and roles that I play and love as a fitness professional. So from the cycle side, Tunde is one of my favorite cycle instructors with Peloton. And fun fact, she is also a graduate of the University of Houston and went through UH Campus Rec. So being able to see that people can make it from Campus Rec to a stage as large as Peloton is so inspiring. And then Jess Sims represents my, strength aspect in the HIIT training and all that stuff. And then Dr. Chelsea Jackson Roberts is the yoga aspect, and seeing that all of these women, Black women, can be in a space and on a stage as large as Peloton as a fitness professional is so inspiring. And just being able to be in the space with them in the comfort of your own home is such an amazing experience, and being able to learn different things from them while also impacting my personal fitness journey is one of my favorite things.
Yeah, okay, y'all, I need to get the Peloton app or whatever. I'm like ready to drink the Kool-Aid. I don't know. But in terms of just kind of fitness industry individuals, I've met Sean T once, but he also went through Campus Rec. And I have been to several conferences of him, and I just really love his energy and like what he's been able to cultivate. Recently, we had a webinar and we got to meet Nicola Smiles, who's been really, really great from Les Mills. So she, I think, is just such a great advocate for Black women in general. And then I'll just throw one in from the nurses side. Wendy Windsor has all just been amazing. I think she is a great role model and mentor for just kind of upcoming professionals. So yeah.
Awesome, thank you for sharing that. All right, so specific to your program area, so fitness, what are some of the impacts of race you may see play out? So for example, you can talk about like stereotypes or microaggressions. So we'll start with Courtney.
Yeah, I think this is a really great question because a lot of people may not necessarily realize things that impact Black people and Black women specifically when it comes to fitness. I think one of the biggest impacts of race that I've seen, specifically with Black women, is our hair. And that is a huge impact on people's fitness journey. And, you know, the classes that you may see Black women participating in, what time, and, you know, like of the week, or, you know, you may see like at the beginning of the week, you may not have many Black women in your high intensity classes, but towards the end of the week, when they know they're going to do their hair or something like that, you may have more, right? So I think that's a huge impact that people may not consider when it comes to Black women in fitness. And I think there are also stereotypes that, you know, when you see Black men specifically in fitness, they're normally stereotypically super hardcore, you know, that boot camp attitude that, you know, always is, you know, pedal to the metal, they have to go super hard. I think that's something that's common that people see when it comes to Black people in fitness. And with that, that's why I love seeing Black people in yoga and mind body, because that's not typically a space where we see ourselves represented. So being able to kind of be so diverse and well-versed in the fitness industry is one of my favorite things when it comes to Black people specifically in fitness, because of those stereotypes and microaggressions that may be not realized by people that do not identify as Black.
Yeah, I actually really love what you talked about with hair. I love when I can see really anyone, but specifically Black women, come in with like a head wrap. They're like, I'm still here. I don't care what I had to do to get here, and y'all are gonna love it, right? So yes, that has a huge impact on us. And obviously, again, that's how people perceive that, just being comfortable being able to do that. I would say also, this is less of a microaggression, but just access to equipment, clothes, that kind of stuff. Working at a predominantly white institution, a lot of the students will come in and they're wearing Lululemon, and they're wearing all of the whatever they all wear, because they all wear the same thing, myself included. I'll wear it sometimes as well. But, you know, not everybody has access to that, and not everybody feels comfortable to say, you know, well, I didn't bring my yoga mat. Did I need to have my yoga mat? And did I need to have the block and the strap and whatever? So just being able to feel comfortable and being able to provide that for them, so that they don't feel like they have to have, you know, X, Y, and Z to participate in any given activity. And then I would say just in the way that we talk with others, right? And so one example I'll give is, if we're teaching a class, I know some people get very used to saying things like, okay, let's start our watches, or let's do, you know, whatever. So the little small things that other people may not identify with or may not have can really make an impact on that participant's experience. So just, again, we all know, using that inclusive language and making sure that we're connecting with every group.
Awesome, thank you. So what advice would you give to young Black professionals following in your footsteps? So Melissa, if you want to kick this one off.
Yeah, I would say, for one, I would just say, know who you are, know what your values are, and know what makes you unique and different, and stand by that. You know, there will be so many opportunities and I'm still growing and learning, and there's so many opportunities as we all grow and learn, for that to be challenged, and for us to be put in uncomfortable positions, but as, you know, Black individuals, as Black women, et cetera. And it's really important that as long as we maintain and hold those values near and true to us, I think that we can just kind of cultivate a comfortable experience for ourselves, but then also be a great example to others. And then the second thing I would say is just to make sure that you're bringing people along the way. So as Courtney said, making sure that you're paving that way for other people, bringing on people that look like you or your population that you're serving, just making sure that you're supporting everybody, kind of going the extra mile. It can be tough, especially if y'all have bigger staff, but just knowing that that makes all of the world of difference to create that relationship for others, and just help them know that they have a resource to go back to.
Yeah, and I would say don't be afraid of being in the spaces where you don't see yourself already. I know that it can be intimidating to be that first person or, that representation right off the bat. But don't be afraid to jump in and be that person, and start making that transition to where it is more, where we are more represented in spaces. So if you see that there is a lack somewhere and it's not something that you would have ever thought of or thought would have been your niche, explore that. Explore all of the avenues when it comes to fitness, even if it's something that is outside of your comfort zone, because you really may end up loving it. And if you can just provide that representation for someone that can make a huge impact in someone's day, life, and fitness journey. And as fitness professionals, I think those are things that we really have to pay attention to, and make a world of difference.
Awesome, thank you. So we're coming down to our last two questions. And so looking at your class participants and the dynamic, what are some challenges that exist in recruiting a diverse group of people? And we'll start with Melissa.
I think we've kind of touched on a few of them already, but I think it's also, it's hard for students sometimes to feel like they can get to like that final step, that final stretch, right? They can go through the courses, they can find the certifications, find ways to get funding for those certifications, but then just giving them that confidence to feel like, hey, I can be accepted in this space. I can take this test. I can teach this class and others will accept and feel comfortable with me. I think that is a real challenge. And again, knowing that they're going to have likely something that reflects their culture and just the way that they grew up. So maybe their music is different, or maybe the way that they speak is a little bit different, or whatever the case may be. So again, just having them and letting them feel comfortable and knowing that there is a safe place for them could be one barrier. And then I would probably say the second is to just, it sounds silly, but to find them and grab them and bring them on in. I know for myself, well, I did have access to a few of those things. I just didn't even know for me that like campus rec was an option, instructing was an option, right? It's like we have, whoops, sorry, all technical difficulties. We have a few of these opportunities that are often presented to us, and that might be athletics, or that might be just anything else, teaching, and then often it's just trying to expose them to this field of recreation and this field of fitness in general. Hey, these are the certifications, this is what they look like, this can be your path and your route. It doesn't have to be athlete to Instagram professional or something like that. So probably those two are the things that I think of the most.
Yeah, I think Melissa did a great job of talking, from our fitness professional side. So kind of thinking about our participants and how we can recruit a diverse population there. I think eliminating as many barriers as we can is a great thing and a great place to start. So some of those challenges, we talked about access to equipment earlier. I think that's a huge one. So being able to provide that equipment, whether it's yoga mats, block straps, anything that they will need for that class, having them be able to come into the space and that be there for them is a great way to bring more people in. Also, the University of Houston is a predominantly commuter campus. So a challenge that we face is people have to come to our campus from all over the city, which can take them upwards of 45 minutes to an hour to commute one way. So we've been exploring ways that we can get our services out of our building and to where people are. So if we have people that are coming on class or coming on campus for a class, can we take a class into your academic building? Can we take a class into the residence halls? So meeting people where they are is the best way that we can continue to eliminate those barriers and diversify our populations of participants.
Awesome, thank you. All right, so Courtney, you kind of touched a little bit on this about like your department. So what are some things that your department or maybe some strategies have done to promote racial justice? It could be, you can talk about your department, or you can even talk about yourself individually.
Yeah, so I think with our department, we are taking the steps to continue educating ourselves as professionals and then trickling that down to our students. Because I think it's really important that we learn at a base level first, and then we can take that into our student employees who can then share that with our participants. It's a trickle down, top down effect for sure. So some things that we've done, we are really amping up our promotions and things that we are doing with our diversity and inclusion committee, which I have the pleasure of co-chairing with another one of my colleagues, and really working to bring our students into that. Some things that I have done, I am really working to present on topics that I am passionate about within NERSA. So I've had the opportunity to present with a colleague on representation in fitness, and also another colleague on intersectionality and how that plays into our workday. So I think it's super important for me to take what I have learned and share that with others in our field, and even others who are not in our field. So I am just trying to continue learning and sharing the wealth and sharing the knowledge as I go along.
Yeah, we I think we've just been trying as a department to figure out, and I am excited to say these are some things that we have been kind of doing before, how we can make sure that all of our services kind of emulate the population that we're serving, right? So with our marketing, making sure that we have a diverse group of individuals that are in our pictures, that are in our videos, and our promotional materials. We are piloting a Black History Month series, so that has been really exciting. We've just been kind of been able to really do whatever we want with that, and just everything that looks Black is Black, we're putting that in there. So that has been really, really fun. And I should say, kind of echoing that, just celebrating every month, right? Celebrating Women's Month, anything that needs to be celebrated. I think we've just been more intentional about saying like, hey, we can do this, and it matters to our participants and it matters to our staff. And, you know, it's important to just kind of have these conversations and celebrate us as often as possible.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us today in our Region 4 Communications for our Black History Month conversation. Is there any last message, anything else you might want to say? I'll give you a few seconds if you want to chime in.
I'll just say it was a pleasure to be here, and this is great. And I'm so happy to see Region 4 doing this series, and just being able to be a part of it is such an honor. And thank you and the Communications Committee for that.
Thank you.
Ditto that. Thank y'all for putting this together. Thank y'all for everything that you've done over the past year. It's been really just kind of awesome to see it all put together. Yeah, y'all are great.
Thank you so much. All right, bye.